Hello everyone and welcome back to the Belgian Beer Brothers channel. Cedric here in Antwerp with a brand new brew review. And as promised, today we are going to taste another Belgian beer, and not just any Belgian beer. We are going to taste a Belgian specialty beer and an anniversary beer. On top of that, we are going to try the Arend OAK by Brewery Ryck. Now, we are going to talk about the brewery in another video, of course, but just to round things up, Brewery Ryck basically started in 1886. This is their 135th anniversary beer. Now you might say 135, that should have been 2021. Yeah, that's true, but basically COVID hit us, and let's say they had a lot of time to figure out what they were gonna do for their 135th anniversary. Now they did two things for that anniversary. First off, they brewed this lovely oak beer. At least I'm guessing it's lovely. We'll know in about a minute. And secondly, they made the Arend OAK distilled. So they did make an eau de vie out of the same triple. Because this beer is based on the Arend Triple by Brewery Ryck, and they aged that with American semi-toasted or medium roasted wood chips, oak wood chips. Yeah, what else can I tell you guys about this? This is a oak, well, wood-aged triple of 9% ABV. Let's see what the bottle tells us. A powerful blonde gastronomic beer in honor of the 135th anniversary of Brouwerij De Ryck. Just like the history of the brewery, a beer with a unique maturation process and evolution. The addition of oak chips during the lagering process enriches the beer with a full-bodied, powerful and complex palate with hints of vanilla, caramel and wood, and a mature, gentle aftertaste. Yeah, couldn't have said it better myself. And what they say about that unique process about the brewery, they were founded in 1886. In 1977, they were the first brewery to have a female brewing engineer. And in 2006, they started bottling. Before that, they only filled kegs, amongst which small home kegs. Now, I know for our American friends who have a kegging culture, that's nothing special at all. But for us here in Belgium and in Europe as an extension, yeah, we're not used to having kegs at home. We're used to having bottles, and these days cans maybe. The name Arend, which means eagle in English, actually goes back to the original name of the brewery, because it was called the Gouden Arend, or the Golden Eagle. Now, more about that in the brewery video, but I just wanted to tell you guys that before we taste this beer. Now, without further ado, I have been very curious about this beer for quite a while now. I mean, look at this lovely bottle. It is wrapped with a bottle cap, probably corked, I'm not sure about that, but that lovely label, black and gold white lettering. Well, it's not even a label, it's printed on the bottle. I actually bought this bottle because of the look, and I didn't really know the beer, and then I noticed that it's a 135th anniversary beer, which always tickles my fancy. I like how the word oak is lettered out in a wood grain type of lettering. Yeah, just love this bottle, this packaging. So let's try it out. First off, let's lose this. Oh, it's not cork, it's just the bottle cap. Now, I am going to use a rather festive glass for this. I could have used a generic tulip glass, but this one happens to be by the Struise Brouwers. Just a shape that I like. I have the same glass by the Brussels Beer Project and some other breweries, but it's a shape I enjoy. I already see some vapor coming out of the bottle, which is always a good sign. So a 9% ABV blonde oak aged triple. Honestly, it doesn't sound too bad, does it? I am gonna cap off the bottle because of course I am not gonna finish this bottle by my own today. I did pour myself a nice 25 centiliter, which means I still have at least 2 portions here. First off, not too clear, I like that. It's a bit hazy, even though I poured quite gently. And very, very highly carbonated. It's a very active beer. Nice head of foam. I mean, it's like a copper blonde, golden yellow-ish. I wouldn't call it gold entirely, but golden yellow, orangey. And a nice, nearly white head of foam, slightly off-white. A variation of bubbles, small to medium, quite dense foam, so it'll do its job. Okay, let's see how it smells. Yeah, that's oak, all right. I do get a lot of vanilla, a lot of wood, a lot of oak in there. And even though it's not aged on like bourbon barrels or whiskey barrels, I do get a bit of that scent in there, but yeah, they're just roasted oak chips, American oak chips. So probably the roasty scents that I get out of there, and they probably remind me of bourbon. Rather sweet, but of course that is the wood and the vanilla in there. It smells quite heavy too, but yeah, again, wood, always heavy, and it is a 9% or so. Okay, let's have a taste. Cheers. Yeah, that is completely as expected. Just like in the fragrance, the wood comes through first thing, quite predominantly. A lot of vanilla, a lot of wood, those slightly roasty flavors. Indeed, as the bottle promised, a bit of caramel. Now I am rinsing my mouth because I had something sweet to eat before tasting, and I forgot to rinse, so I don't want to contaminate my tasting, and that's why I'm rinsing with the beer right now. So the flavor is pretty much embedded inside the entirety of my mouth, and now I can taste more objectively. And indeed, that third and fourth sip are a lot less sweet, because at first glance I thought this was a rather sweet beer, which is technically no surprise with those vanilla flavors, but nonetheless it shouldn't have been that sweet, and apparently it was just some leftover sugar from the sweets I had before this. So back to the tasting. Yeah, a lot of vanilla, a lot of wood. It is quite bitter, so it must have been pretty much, yeah, must have had a decent hopping. I like that. It is quite thirst quenching. But it is quite boozy as well. And basically, in the entirety of the flavors, alcohol, carbon dioxide, and wood, vanilla, basically make up the basic palate. And when we go searching for other flavors. I do get a bit of bitterness, a bit of hoppiness, well, quite a lot of hoppiness. Yeah, thirst quenching, refreshing, and it is basically as heavy as you would expect. Now, we've had some surprises in the past few weeks of heavier beers tasting lighter, lighter beers tasting heavier. This one is just on point, à point, as our French friends tend to say. Yeah, this is a very nice balanced beer. You guys know that I love balance. It is a bit high in carbonation for me, but yeah, no surprise there is either. Yeah. This does remind me of a Duvel barrel-aged series or some other barrel-aged series. Nonetheless, the heavy blondes don't often get barrel-aged or wood-aged. I think we should do that more often because that crispiness and that sort of dryness and bitterness of those strong blondes goes hand in hand with the aromas, the tannins that the wood gives us. So yeah, we should do that more often. I don't know why we always tend to barrel age or wood age dark beers or stouts, but if you're a home brewer and you have some wood around, and I do mean the flavor thing, yeah, by all means try so. I think that a beer like this would also do well in not only oak, but if we would manage to infuse some pine chips and get some of that resin flavor in there, that would be quite nice as well. But yeah, I'm pretty much enjoying this one too. I think this is quite a successful yeah, anniversary beer. I am curious for the distilled version as well. Now, I did understand, and I'm not entirely sure if I'm right about that, but I did get to understand that they actually distilled the triple and then aged it with wood chips as well. So they didn't distill these beers, which would have been quite silly. But yeah, I really like this. So also the aftertaste is not just oak as we get in quite a few barrel-aged beers. It's not just oak, it is the entirety of the flavor palette. Distilled down maybe, but I still get that bitterness, I still get the tiny hint of sweetness that is in there. I do get the vanilla, the wood, the roastiness. So that aftertaste is just as full as the initial taste, and that is quite rare. So yeah, beautiful brew again. I do believe that this is the first beer that I have from Brewery Ryck. I did know the name, just didn't get to having their beers. But yeah, if this is it, then I'm absolutely curious to try their other beers, so I'll try to make that happen. But how should I score this beer? Of course, this is a one-off. It is not necessarily my style. I am quite enthusiastic about this, so I think we should call this like a 375. Would have been a 4 if it was more my cup of tea, but yeah, let's call it 375 to 4, somewhere around that. But like I said, a beautiful beer. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of highly carbonated beers, I really like this. Yeah. That all being said, I am very happy that I got into my local supermarket and saw this beautiful bottle, and this, like I said, it was an impulse buy, just based on the bottle, not knowing anything about it. I have no idea what I paid for it because it's been a few months since I bought this. Nonetheless, I really like it. Yeah, no regrets here. As usual, if you guys like this video, let me know down in the comments or hit that thumbs up, maybe do both. If you want to see more, subscribe, hit the bell icon, and I'll notify you guys whenever I upload something. If you have any requests, questions, whatever, again, comment section, all open, and I try to get back to you as soon as possible. And if you want to support this channel, yeah, just share a video somewhere. And that all being said, I will see you guys again in the next video, which should be, I believe, Friday. And until then, I think I got my my hands full with the rest of this bottle. So cheers, you guys.